Eric, we've been flying airplanes together. For us in airplanes, it's a new concept, alcohol, flying alcohol in airplanes.
Yeah, I mean, just a few years ago, everybody's scared of ethanol. They want to find ways to avoid ethanol But right now, I'm excited. I like the fuel. I think it's a better fuel for the airplane. It runs cool on an air-cooled engine. I'm definitely going to be looking for ways to use it in the airplane.
Do you ship internationally?
There is a little bit of the ethanol that is exported, primarily to Canada. Also, DDGS is exported all over the world. It is a good low-cost feed that can reduce bean meal or corn in a feed diet for an animal. We have shipped quite a bit of DDGs through containers to Asia and other markets, Mexico, other markets also.
Can we make ethanol out of other crops?
Well, Ray, at this plant, we're a dry mill corn ethanol plant, and we can't actually use wheat, but we haven't actually done that yet. We would not be set up to do any of the other products, but there are plants out there that use things like orange peels down in Florida. You can make it out of sugar beets. You can make it out of sugar cane down in Brazil. They're 100% ethanol, and they use all those products to be self-sufficient on ethanol. You've also got cellulosic ethanol, which can come from a number of things: the stems, the stalk, the cob on the corn. You've got wood chips from the national forest that could be used. A number of sources of this cellulosic that has starch in it.
The alcohol comes out at 200 proof.
Right.
Well, what's the difference between this and moonshine?
Well, there's no difference. It's just a lot better. But the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms people make us put a little bit of gasoline in our alcohol. So ours tastes like gasoline. But before we do that, it's 200 proof alcohol. We denature it before any alcohol can leave our property. It's got to be denatured.
Burns cleaner.
Well, it burns clear. I mean, one of the ways you can tell impurities in a fuel is by looking at the color of the flame. And of course, when alcohol burns, there is no color, there's no smoke, there's nothing to it. Now, that's good for your car. It makes us be very safety conscious because if we get a fire, you're going to feel it, but you may not see it. So we have a lot of fire suppression. We have our own fire loop. So we're very conscious about fires. So whenever the welders are working, whatever, we've got a lot of safety procedures that we have to go through.
One question that I hear raised: do we have enough corn?
Well, we certainly have enough corn to go around. The good news is we're not wasting any corn. We're not letting it stockpile and rot. We're not paying farmers to not grow corn. We're utilizing the resources we have, which are our beautiful earth and all the farmland that we have available to us, which is roughly 90 million acres.
And we're in the process building here. What goes on in here, Norm?
Well, right behind us, we're actually blending corn and water and getting it ready to go to fermentation. We're breaking that starch down into glucose so that we can actually create ethanol. So a lot of the ethanol, it really just is made in this building.
Norm, in terms of gallons of ethanol, how many bushels of corn gives me a gallon of ethanol?
Well, we actually look at it in terms of how many gallons per bushel. We actually get 2.7 gallons per bushel, which is pretty good. We'd like to get 3, and we're working on that.
Some people say it takes more energy to make ethanol than it's worth. How do you answer that question?
Well, it's interesting you ask that because we do have energy consumption here. We use electricity and gas, and right now we're consuming about 29,000 BTUs per gallon produced, and the fuel has a lot more in that than 29,000 per gallon. But interestingly enough, we're actually designed to be 36,000 bushel BTUs per gallon, and we're way under that, so we're much more efficient.
It's exciting, all this new technology. How do you see ethanol in the future?
Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, I am convinced we've got to get off of foreign oil. We cannot continue to send the kind of money that we're sending to foreign countries, many of which don't like us. So I'm a pretty big proponent of homegrown energy. Today, ethanol supplies about 7 or 8% of the nation's fuel supply, targeted to go as high as 15%, or even higher if we can figure out how to use cellulosic ethanol. So I think there's a bright future for it. Ethanol is having a dramatic impact on holding down gas prices today. Now, it may not seem like it to you when you look at the prices you're paying, but by our calculations, Iowa State University, the International Energy Agency would all say that ethanol is holding down gasoline prices by as much as 50 cents a gallon.
We produce anywhere from around 142,000 gallons of 200 proof alcohol a day. After we put the unleaded gas in it, it equates to around 52 million rate. Some of the statistics that we have here, we do not shut down this plant. We run 365 days a year, 24 hours. We do have 2 planned shutdowns. One is in the spring and the other one is in the fall. Those vary anywhere from 3 to 5 days, so there is downtime there, but all plant employees and operations is here working, making sure that things happen. Obviously there is maintenance things that happen we have to fix over that time period, and we still send out our alcohol during that time. You know, we blend it to a 5% blend after we make the 200 proof alcohol, so now it's E-95, and that product there gets shipped out Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Christmas. We have to be here and work, and it still continues to run.
Well, we appreciate your sponsorship. It's a wonderful business here in Grant County, and we appreciate all that you do to help our county and also to help us at the fly-in this year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming out. Looking forward to seeing you, Inge. Thank you very much. Okay. It's good to have you here.
Okay. Right.
Thank
Great.
you.